Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about scheduling, how we've set out some nice scheduling schema and quick editing functionality to get you started on any application that requires some sort of scheduling. Okay, so let's type in schedule. schedule, there we go. Oops. And now we have the tiles that apply to scheduling. Now, keep in mind, there's no specific API wrapped around these particular tiles or data sets. What's instead is put in place is a schema and some default data that kind of jump starts anything that you'd like to do around scheduling. By getting things jump started, you kind of have a star type schema on which you can build more functionality and specific functions that your application needs. So with that in mind, let's go down each of these tiles and explain what we've done here. Okay, so we've already put in our days of week. That's easy enough. So it's already set for you. You can already have that for a payment. We can have appointment state types, which you can edit and put your own in. Keep in mind, you always have that nice nifty tool to do enumeration generators for your C# code. So that's easy for you to put values in here and then use our enumeration extension to get really good power out of these settings. Okay. So we have our appointment states, our appointment types. Again, you can have any kind of appointment type in here that's already ready to be edited and already ready to be used. Recurrence. This is basically, how do we set our recurrence? Attendee confirmation types and states, got that all done. Pattern types, we've already got a bunch of patterns in here ready to go. We already have an appointment editor, which you'll probably want to put a better skin around this, but at least it's got you somewhere where you can enter data and start working on it right away. Okay, so you've done that. Let's see, we also have the ability to attach resources to the appointment so that you can schedule different resources. This is great if you've got something like a delivery business or a say a plumber or anything, and you just want to bind these things together. You can do so. We also put in appointment attendees, which are specific users, and the confirmation state they're in. We have logging so that we know what's going on with some details. Appointment resources, specific days of the month. Of course, that's just scheduling things on a specific date of the month. And so it gives you this framework in which you can throw data in, and then you can write your own APIs to handle it. What's even nicer is if you take this into combination with our entity star schema, you basically have the ability to schedule appointments with resources and pick locations and customers inside that location with almost no work on the SQL side. Now there's going to be work on your front end because we're not trying to design your front end, but we are getting you boosted and jumped with this kind of functionality already set up. It's roughly just the basics you'd need to think about when you're building this this big appointment calendaring system. Yeah, this is the core. It's certainly not everything you'll build out, but if you get started good with the core, then the build out is going to work fine. Another thing to think about here is that since it's part of our system, we've already got all of the different mini logging fields and columns. We've got the appointment ID as a GUID, so you can uniquely identify the record, so that you can do things both online, transactionally, but also offline, where you're doing a reconciliation, and you're not going to have a lot of problems doing that. You'll notice we already have entity ID built into the appointment record, so that you can schedule things by the entity and by the user and by the resource. So this gives you pretty much everything you need to schedule both resources for an entity and entities as in user accounts, entities as in delivery vehicles, the whole 9 yards. It's all ready, and it's all ready to support indexing. It's all ready to support searching. It's all ready to support again the mini logs. It's basically already got the time zone IDs built in, everything. So a lot of the esoteric functionality that you might need in a scheduling tool is kind of already set up for you. It's just up to you to code what you want against it. So to summarize, scheduling is kind of a scaffolding on which you build your own APIs. We've gone as far as we think we should go for presenting generic data sources that are well formed and scale well and bind into other things such as search and indexing and SMS and everything else, and they are PaaS aware. Well, actually, they're multi-environment aware data resources, but we don't go so far as to try to pick and choose what kind of app you're going to eventually build. Hopefully, this helps you out quite a bit when you're designing your work. Thanks for watching.